We've been building a solar farm. Ordered some panels and all the other parts. Jumped in the Kubota, which was basically barn, because we're going to use this a lot with solar. Today I want to break down the wiring, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, but let's speed run how we got to this point and who am I? Anyway, hey, I'm Vosk, you're on the VoskCoin YouTube channel, and this is the VoskCoin solar farm build. Hey.
Oh, hi.
What are you doing July 21st, 23rd? I thought you'd say that. Heading down to Mining Disrupt. They're back in Miami, Florida, baby. It's the biggest Bitcoin crypto mining conference in the world. Use our link to not only buy a ticket, but to get a discount. $590-watt Jinko panels mounted on Integra black racks IR40s, mounted right into the dirt with Integra rack ground screws. We did the racking and then we did the stacking of the panels using their IR bonder clip things to get these mounted on the racks. Then you do some leveling. Before this, we ran the trench. Just dug that out with the trencher on the Kubota there. That will be where all of our AC wire runs, and that'll run back to our electric service and get this all tied in and, actually have the solar power going somewhere. And then we mounted the inverter. So we're using a lot of different parts out here. I hope you subscribe to the VoskCoin Solar series. In this piece, we're using string inverters, and we are specifically using Growatt 11.4 kW string inverters. The way this breaks down is 3 strings of 8. You look at the spec sheet for the Jinko 590 watts. The main thing you're looking at is the VOC, right? And when it's record cold, will the VOC or the voltage there on that line be okay in this quantity? So you take that number and you take the strength, for example, times 8. Then you also look at the panel amperage, and you look at what this inverter can do. I'll be honest, I bought all this stuff not fully understanding everything and how it all came together. Now I think I do, and it's not an ideal situation. This inverter amperage input from the PV or solar side is undersized. These are bifacial panels. They should be putting out more than 13.5 amps in ideal conditions, but I won't ever be able to utilize that with these Growatts because it'll simply clip. It just can't handle that much per the specs. But alas, I own these parts. We're gonna run them, and I'll change it out one day eventually, probably, maybe. So we took some super strut, 10-foot piece, cut it in half. We centered it up on these Integra racks, drilled a couple holes, ran some bolts through, and locked it down. Then we mounted the string inverter. These Growatt inverters are big. They're technically hybrid inverters. They weigh about 50 pounds. The first step of doing solar is hitting the gym. So we get all of the inverters where they need to go. Then we get them mounted, as you can see here, but they're not wired up yet. Then we take all the parts that they come with, and we just take those and we put them into one box. This is great because we need to tie all this stuff together. The solar panels need to connect to each other in their string quantities. 3 strings or sets of 24. So we connect 8 solar panels, but then these little connectors, MC4s, on each end of the 8 are just floating there. They're not connected to anything. That's where you grab your PV wire, and I went straight to 10 gauge, which is basically 6mm2. Grabbed an MC4 male and put that on the black wire. When you look at the MC4s, the one with the skinny tip is the male connector. The other connector, the socket, is the female connector. The male connector goes into the female connector, and they mate. Oh my God! Standard DC color coding is positive red and negative black. It's like a battery terminal, right? The positive's red, which means we got 2 wires. The other color goes to the other one, the negative. So we've got the inverter mounted, we've got the load center mounted, we're running the strings. The row is 24 panels long. Each string or set are 8 panels. And then we connect that positive and negative side to each open end there, and we run it back to the inverter. That's where we crimp it using this crimping tool that doesn't just crimp a square in one spot, it pretty much crimps the whole thing. It's very nice. This is like just the most popular crimping kit on Amazon. It's nothing crazy or particularly expensive or special. Point being, we run these 2 wires back, we crimp them, and then we push them into the correct connections here on the string inverter. You look at the row from the back left to right. The first set of 8 is going to be connection 1 positive, connection 1 negative. Then the next set of 8 is set 2 on positive and negative. And then the next and final set of 8 is set 3 of positive and negative. To be very precise here, we looked at the panels, we zoom in on these little pre-made connectors, and you squint your eyes a little bit and you see an embossed character, a plus sign or a minus sign. And that's where we're getting the positive and the negative orientation, right? The polarity of these. So when I look at the back of the black racks and I scan left to right on these Jinko 590 watt solar panels, in this scenario, the positives, the reds, are on the right, and the negatives, the blacks, are on the left. You'll notice all of our red wires are running to the right, and all of our black wires are running to the left, generally speaking, right, of these strings, the right and the left of the strings. But make sure you check in your own scenario. This is important, right, because you can run a numerous strings on an inverter, and then you have these MPPTs, right, these maximum power point tracking on the inverter. You have to do this stuff right, otherwise you could burn up your stuff, you could have a fire hazard, or most importantly, your solar system just won't work right. I was in a rush to get these parts in because Vincent was here on site, BMA was going to be here on site. This is Dennis. And this is Colby. They're the 2 guys from BMA that have helped me with all kinds of things out here on the VoskCoin mining farm over the years, and they'd like to help you too. If you have any needs of crypto, Bitcoin consultation in general, or you want to build the next big mining farm, reach out to them with the link out in the video description below. They're great guys, and I'm proud to call them also my friends. And it was just crazy. We had a lot going on. So I called up a local solar supply seller and I was like, hey, I'm gonna need some PV wire. Give me 10 gauge and then give me 20 MC4s, male and female, so 40 total. And just give me the best deal you can on it. They did have stuff locally, so I was able to get it the next day and they brought it over for free. I didn't pay a rush fee or a delivery fee or anything like that. So there was a convenience factor. But ultimately, I paid a lot for what this stuff is. I paid about $350 for 500 feet of black PV wire, 10 gauge, number 10. And then I paid about $350 for 500 feet of red, 10 gauge PV wire. And then I paid about $80 for 40 MC4s, right? And so you search the same thing right into Amazon, get it delivered to your house for free in 2 days and get 5% cash back on your Amazon credit card, all right? You'll pay $284 for that same wire size, that same wire type, and that same wire color, right? Black wire, red wire, make your life a little bit easier instead of having to tape it. They're coming up here priced as the same. This is also apparently made in the USA, which I was surprised about. I'm curious to get my hands on some of this Temco wire to see if it's worth the 5-star rating it gets on Amazon. Then you pan over to the MC4s to get 100 MC4s right off of Amazon delivered to my house free overnight for $34. I will say these MC4s seem particularly nice and they fit the 10 gauge wire well. Also, I will say that I like this wire, but I've also ordered up some wire and MC4s from China. The MC4s are basically freaking free. not $2 a piece. And the wire you're literally, quite literally, getting for pennies on the dollar. But before I hype that up any further and really drill down on those numbers, I want to make sure I actually get this delivery. It also doesn't crash on the way. And just, well, let's just say, who knows? You never know. It's been a crazy year. Me and Colby from BMA, which you may know Colby and also Dennis, they've been helping us out here on the farm for years and just become great friends. They're great people along the way. So me and Colby wired up a row, right? So 3 strings, ran the wire around, plugged every solar panel in, got it crimped and into the inverter under 30 minutes. So we are doing 3 strings and moving from row to row in under 30 minutes now after a quick warm up. We both have never done this before. This is easy. This is light work. This is fun compared to lugging around 1,070-pound freaking solar panels and everything else. I like wiring. From now on, I want to be the solar wire guy, okay? I don't want to be the solar panel mover guy anymore. Who keeps signing me up for that? Can you please stop? Thank you. I want to get a little bit louder and yell, but my son is napping, so bear with my monotoneness today. I'm kind of excited though. We've wired up 4 rows. Should be able to wire the other 3 rows of black racks in less than 2 hours, easily. Maybe even by myself, or maybe 2 hours by myself. And then I need to connect the inverters to the load centers. Pretty simple. Just need to run some wire between. I paid the premium to buy copper here, which, yep, copper's trading at all-time high. Ow. But copper is smaller, better, more pliable. I mean, copper's superior in every single way except price point for stuff like this. And I'm using number 4 copper instead of a smaller gauge. This is oversized for the Growatt inverters, but this is the maximum wire size that this will accept. And what basically I want to do here is future-proof this connection, this wire at the breaker and the wire size there, because I want to upgrade my inverters to be bigger, more powerful, rewire some things to run it all together. And basically at that point I would take the wire out of the Growatt and just run it into the bigger inverter. For example, we've thoroughly examined the Solus 16 kilowatt as a future upgrade potential part for us here. But right now we need to get stuff plugged in, wired up, and energized. We need to start, these panels need to start working for us. So all these load centers run back to disconnects with 1-aught copper, and 1-aught copper is going into 200 amp disconnects, and that's all wired up together, and line side taps our electric service. And basically this is grid tied for an initial deployment. I would never spend the money on batteries for something of this scale and this type and this use if I was not able to grid tie. I would simply just run when the sun's up and all my stuff would turn off when the sun's down. Because yes, I can sell the energy that I generate with solar, but I'm going to earn more passive income by using it to run my Bitcoin mining rigs. And the whole solar farm build is largely fueled by the simple fact that this will single-handedly save the VoskCoin mining farm that is otherwise on a fast track to dying, as my electric utility continues to raise my electric rates and Bitcoin and other crypto mining profitability continues to stay flat or fall. What do you think? What would you do if you were me with this sunk cost on these parts, on this spot, and kind of where would you pick up the pieces I've got on the board right now and put them? Let me know down in the comments below. I really appreciate you all, and the feedback on the solar stuff has been like just really cool and really interesting. And I mean, to be honest, I'm having a lot of fun with solar. And if you're an OG VoskCoin subscriber and viewer and you're still enjoying this content, 1, I think that's really cool. 2, I want to say thank you. And 3, yeah, you guessed it, 10 seconds of tails. Our super cutie pup needs some screen time. She's our CSO, our Chief Solar Officer. This is Vosk, and I'm signing out.